At tea. My dad's second wedding. The tag on my chest said, Housekeeper. His new wife smirked, You're just staff here. No chair, no plate, no place. My brother snickered. Food is for family. I stood straight, slipped off the family ring, and said that I'm no longer your family. Their smiles vanished, but that was only the beginning. Can you imagine standing there at your own father's lavish wedding at the Ritz-Carlton, surrounded by 450 elite guests, while your name tag says, Housekeeper? And then, when you approach the buffet, your own brother blocks your path, sneering, Food is for family only. What would you do? Because in that moment, I made a choice. I decided to burn their entire empire to the ground. That day, just 3 months ago, that humiliation became the match that ignited the most calculated corporate takedown San Francisco had ever seen. While they were busy labeling me the help, I was secretly controlling 40% of their company through shell corporations. While they denied me a seat at the family table, I was preparing to take their seats in the boardroom. My name is Victoria Sterling. I'm 32 years old, and this is the story of how being called a housekeeper led to me putting my brother in handcuffs and my father in bankruptcy. Let me paint you a picture of the Sterling Empire. Sterling Industries, a $280 million behemoth, 1,200 employees across 3 states, and a gleaming 45-story tower dominating the San Francisco skyline. My father, Richard Sterling, built it from nothing, or so he loved to remind everyone, constantly. I graduated from Harvard MBA with distinction in 2016. Instead of joining the family business like my brother, Alexander, I founded Nexus Advisory. By 2023, we were pulling in $45 million in annual revenue, handling corporate restructuring for mid-sized tech companies. Not bad for what my father dismissively called Victoria's little hobby. The first real crack in my facade, the first sting of their contempt, came at Thanksgiving dinner in 2023. 23 family members gathered around the massive mahogany table in my father's Nob Hill mansion. Alexander, as always, was holding court, bragging about closing a $50 million acquisition. My father raised his glass, his eyes sweeping over the table, finally landing on me. At least Alexander gives me grandchildren and real value to the Sterling name, he announced, his voice booming. Some people contribute to legacy. Others just exist on the periphery. The words felt like a slap. A cold, public dismissal. 2 days later, the email arrived. Alexander had CC'd our father and his new wife, Cassandra. Stop pretending your little consulting firm matters, he wrote. You're embarrassing yourself trying to compete with real corporate work. Maybe focus on finding a husband instead. What Alexander didn't know was that I'd already purchased 8% of Sterling Industries through my very first shell company, Evergreen Holdings LLC. I'd bought those shares from a disgruntled board member my father had pushed out. Eleanor Blackwood had been more than happy to sell to an anonymous investor who shared her vision for corporate accountability. My little hobby business doesn't compare to real corporate work, Victoria. Richard had said those exact words to Full Story on the channel. Link below. Click now and watch what happened next.